Hi everybody, a very, very happy new year to all of you, and thank you so much for joining us for our presentation this afternoon or this evening, all about Railbookers Top Holidays for 2018. My name is Sarah Turner. I work in the marketing department here at Railbookers, and I'm really excited to have the opportunity to get to kind of showcase our favourite holidays, all of our most popular itineraries from last year, and some that we're really looking forward to going into 2018 as well. Just jot down the number at the bottom of the screen there. It's going to stay there throughout the whole of the webinar. Our team here in the UK are ready and waiting to take calls at the moment, and we'll be in all day tomorrow as well. So if there's anything that inspires you or if you have any questions, just let us know. We'll be really happy to provide you with whatever you need. Before we kick off looking at some of our favourite holidays, I'd love to take the opportunity just to talk a little bit about what I hope you already know, which is why to book with Railbookers. And first and foremost, we really are the rail experts. We've got an absolutely fantastic team full of what we like to call self-confessed train geeks, and they really do have the best knowledge of all the different routes, timings, railway systems, all over the world. They love to use that knowledge to help you build your perfect rail holiday. What they do is use our insider access, so our direct partnerships with the rail companies and hotels all across Europe, across North America, far, far beyond that as well. And these mean that we have access to special rates and availability not accessible to the public. And it's all about giving you complete flexibility. So you can book your holiday with us at any time, all the way through 2018, right into 2019 as well. And of course, we can tailor make any of the itineraries that you see on our website or in our brochures or on one of these webinars to fit your exact requirements. It's all about making it hassle-free, because we know it can be really, really complicated with so many routes, trains, different languages and providers. I've been here 4 years now, and it's still complicated to me at times. So we just want to make it hassle-free for you. So all you have to do, sit back, show up, and enjoy the journey. All these reasons are why we're so proud of having won so many awards. You can see on your screen there just a couple of the rail companies that we work with directly, some insight into the different kinds of destinations that you can go with Railbookers to as well. And we can organise loads of different types of holiday. Of course, we specialise in tailor-made journeys. So, as I said, whatever it is that you want to do, if you see an itinerary but you'd like to fly from your local airport or travel from your local railway station or add a couple of nights in, stop off en route somewhere, whatever it is that you want to do, just let us know. Let us tailor make that for you. Of course, we are specialists in scenic rail journeys as well. We're going to have a look at some of our favourite scenic railway journeys on this holiday, on this webinar this evening. Luxury and private train journeys too. Maybe you've got a big birthday or a special anniversary coming up, and there's a train that's been on your bucket list for a while, anything from the Orient Express to the Rocky Mountaineer in Canada, or even the luxury Trans-Siberian routes. Definitely let us know any inquiries that you have with those. And city breaks as well. You know, obviously not everybody has the time to take a huge bucket list journey every year. So if it is a smaller trip that you're thinking of, lots of people are really surprised by just how far you can go by train. It's not just Paris and Brussels, it's all the way to the south of France or to Switzerland, to Berlin and Amsterdam, all really easy to travel out to by high-speed train. Rail and sail as well. We know we've got lots of customers who absolutely love a cruise. If you wanted to do a little rail holiday before or after, or to get to the cruise port, or maybe book an Alaska cruise with us, that's certainly something that we can offer. Lakes and mountains holidays as well. We're going to look at some of our favourite lakes and mountains holidays in this webinar this evening. Always really, really popular. Some of our top destinations, these are the destinations that we have seen that were popular last year, that we're fully expecting to be really, really exciting and popular this year too. Of course, Italy and Switzerland, absolute dream destinations for travelling both to and around by rail. Spain and Portugal too. If like me in London, it's been pretty bleak here today. We were woken up by the wind and the storm outside yesterday. So if you're dreaming of getting away to warmer climes and blue skies, Spain and Portugal are probably looking pretty good right about now. Scandinavia too, really exciting cities, some fantastic train journeys, and are really, really easy to get to by rail as well. And of course, the USA and Canada are always really popular by train. Some of the world's biggest, best bucket list journeys are happening across the pond, and we're very, very happy to look into whatever you'd like to do there. So we're going to kick off looking at the itineraries today with a look at perhaps our signature holiday. This is one that was really popular last year and is always fantastic because we think it combines the best of a relaxing journey, some fantastic scenery, and of course wonderful destinations as well. Venice via the Alps is the perfect way to get from the UK down to Italy. It doesn't have to be Venice. You can travel to any, almost any Italian city or town even that you'd be interested in this way. But it starts off in London, goes down through Paris to Geneva, and from there you can catch a direct train or go through Milan to Venice. You travel through the amazing Swiss Alps en route before either flying back or taking the train back a different way. So the journey starts, as all of the best journeys by rail from the UK do, on the Eurostar. So you can board in London or Ebbsfleet or Ashford, and it takes just over 2 hours to get to Paris. So it's a high-speed route. If you're leaving early in the morning or in the morning at all to get through to Geneva, you could upgrade to Standard Premier. That'll give you a breakfast on board. From Paris, it's just a really quick hop over of stations and you'll be on the train from Paris to Geneva. This is a picture I took myself on the train. It's not easy taking a picture on a moving train, but the scenery was absolutely wonderful on this route. It's a really lovely journey. You sort of get into the mountains as you approach Geneva, but before that you go along the Ain Gorge and the Seas-Bollazon viaduct as well. So really, really pretty one. Lots of rivers and things en route. It's a double-decker TGV train as well, which is nice. And just the whole time, it's got some lovely scenery. If you want a quieter carriage or a bit more space, you can upgrade to first class on this one too. Journey time's just over 3 hours. So you'll arrive in Geneva in the evening. We work with some wonderful hotels that are right by the station. And the great thing about rail travel is that the stations are often right in the middle of the cities. So basically you can arrive in the city centre, walk down to the lake. It only takes about 10 minutes to do so. Really, really easy. And kind of take a boat trip over. I did this journey back in, it was October, and we sort of took a boat trip over to the old town, had some dinner, kind of had a stroll by the lakefront. Really, really wonderful. And then the next morning you're in prime position just to nip out of your hotel and to the train station. And the Geneva to Venice trip is definitely the showstopper rail journey in this holiday. It is an absolutely wonderful journey. It goes through the mountains. I took this picture as well. It's actually Lake Maggiore. The train goes right along, snakes along the banks of it for really quite some time. It's a really, really beautiful journey. In the beginning as well, the train goes along the banks of Lake Geneva for over an hour, which was really scenic. So the direct train leaves at about 7:40 in the morning, which for us was perfect because we got to see the sun kind of come up as we were going along the banks of Lake Geneva, which was lovely. But if you wanted to go a bit later, that is no problem at all. Obviously, there are really frequent services from Geneva to Milan, a quick platform change at Milan Centrale, and you can be on a train to Venice. Those also go really frequently. But the mountainous scenery and the lakes and the wonderful, wonderful journey, really can't recommend it enough. You arrive into Venice completely relaxed, and there is no better way to arrive into Venice than by train. You kind of roll across the causeway. From either side of the train windows, you can't see anything but the Venetian lagoon on both sides. It really gives you this great sense of arrival. It is a really, really fantastic way to arrive. Once you get to Venice Santa Lucia, you exit the station and you've got the Grand Canal right in front of you. So you're right in the heart of the city. Once you're in Venice, there's obviously loads and loads of things to see or do. It depends on kind of the pace that you want your holiday. Railbookers can organise lots of different sort of day trips or activities to do, lots of different sightseeing options. When we were there, we did a boat trip out to Murano, Burano, or Torcello, the three much smaller islands in the Venetian lagoon. Each have got their own kind of distinct flavour and personality. So that was a really lovely way to kind of get off the beaten track somewhat. We also did a walking tour, and of course a gondola ride is definitely a must-do when you're in Venice, and you can book all of that beforehand if you'd like to through us, or of course you can just kind of show up and spend the days strolling and getting lost in all the labyrinth streets, things like that. It's definitely somewhere unlike anywhere else on the planet, Venice. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a fantastic way to get anywhere in Italy. Milan is very much kind of a terminal station in Italy, and there are trains there, so you can see the Cinque Terre to Florence, to Rome, to the Amalfi Coast. So wherever you want to go, this is a great way to kind of start off. And of course, with high-speed routes and really quick journey times, there's no reason to limit yourself to one place either. You can definitely go to Venice and then add on Florence. That's just a couple of hours away, and Rome as well. So let us build the perfect holiday for you. You just let us know where it is you'd like to go. Sticking with the Venetian theme for our second itinerary, the Venice Simplon-Orient Express is one of the most fantastic trains in the world. It's certainly one of the most luxurious, and it's definitely at the top of a lot of people's bucket lists now, especially with the release of that blockbuster film back at the end of last year. You can go either from London to Venice or from Venice back to London on the Orient Express, depending on your preference. I've included the Venice to London journey on this webinar for two reasons. Firstly, because we've got a fantastic special offer, save £400 per couple on selected dates, which is really, truly amazing. The other reason I selected it is that I wasn't lucky enough to do it myself back in at the end of October after I arrived in Venice by doing that via the Alps route. And it was absolutely wonderful. The scenery along the Arlberg and Brenner passes on the northbound route from Venice to London I thought was just spectacular. Interestingly, the train actually goes different routes on the way out to Venice and the way back. It goes through the Gotthard Pass on the southbound route, and then, as I said, the Arlberg and Brenner on the northbound. So you could certainly do both journeys, and you'd get a really nice variety of scenery. You wouldn't see the same thing twice. So you'll start your journey on this route in Venice. You can either take the train using that amazing via the Alps route that we just looked at, or of course you could always fly. We can organise those flights for you from whatever your local airport is. Once you're in Venice, we work with a fantastic range of hotels, all kind of handpicked by our wonderful product team. We stayed when we were there in a really nice family-run 4-star hotel that was right in the centre, but just in the quiet area. So all of the menus were in Italian, things like that. It was really wonderful. But if there's a special 5-star or one of the famous luxury hotels that you want to stay in, then just talk to us about that. We can definitely arrange something special. After a few nights in Venice, you will board the train, and you can see from this picture here, it really is an incredibly luxurious experience. From the second you step on, you are pretty much treated like royalty. You get a glass of bubbles to kind of toast the beginning of the journey. You can see one of the compartments there, so very, very luxurious. No attention to detail is spared. You can either, for 2 people, have one compartment that will be made up into bunk beds while you're at dinner, or of course you could always go for a cabin suite, which would mean 2 with an interlocking door between the compartments. So you can both have a lower bed, and of course there are single compartments available as well. There's a picture of me in my party frock, ready for a night in one of the amazing dining cars, eating some of the nicest food I've honestly ever eaten in my life. It was a wonderful experience. You can see our little group all toasting to the toasting to the experience in the bar car. There's a pianist that plays all before dinner and afterwards as well, if you want to go in and have a cocktail or a nice bottle of wine. The food is definitely one of my favorite things about the experience. It really does feel like you don't stop eating, but in a really good way. So you get on and then you have this amazing 3-course lunch, afternoon tea, a 4-course dinner. This was our starter from dinner. You know, really brilliant fresh food. You can see them pick up the lobsters and different ingredients on the way. The chef's French, he sort of walks through the dining cars afterwards and just speaks to everybody and lets them know about the meal. So that was really, really nice. Definitely a wonderful experience. All that amazing food is included. You can see a little glimpse of the scenery on the northbound route there. It is wonderful mountain scenery, chocolate box towns, and in October the snow was just starting to form on the tops of the mountains. It was absolutely wonderful. There's a nice amount of time on the train, so you can just kind of sit back and relax and enjoy your time on board. So you can read a book or make friends with other passengers. Everybody's really, really friendly and obviously in a great mood because they're on the Orient Express. But my favorite thing to do was just sit back and watch the world go by, and I'm sure you can understand why with scenery like that. Moving on to a different area of the continent now, the Scandinavian Grand Tour. And Scandinavia is really, really popular at the moment. And we can see why. Obviously, it's fantastically easy and scenic to get out to Scandinavia by train. And once you're there, they've got these wonderful high-speed, very modern, very swish rolling stock that can take you from city to city really, really quickly. So it's definitely a great one if you do like to explore by train. You can see a lot of fantastic destinations with some great railway journeys in between. Journey starts with the Eurostar to Brussels. Quick platform change, literally a couple of minutes, and you can be on the train to Cologne. That's a high-speed route. And the bridge that you see there is actually the railway tracks heading right into the centre of the city. The train stops at Cologne Hauptbahnhof, the main station, which is right next door to the cathedral that Cologne is so famous for. So you can hop off the train, walk outside, and you just see it there in all its glory. It really is fantastic. We work with some great hotels near the station, so you can just dump your bags down and get straight to exploring. The next morning, you're right there to pick the train back up again. If you left London in the morning, you could be in Cologne by sort of the early mid-afternoon. So it's fantastic. You get the whole afternoon, a nice dinner in Cologne. Very relaxing way to travel. From Cologne, you can take the train to Copenhagen. I did this by sleeper train when I went 4 years ago. Sadly, that's been discontinued, but I actually think the day trains are supposed to be really, really nice, a nicer experience. Makes use of one of the last boat trains between Puttgarden and Rodby, so between Germany and Denmark, and you can kind of get off the train, have a walk around on the deck. So the train literally boards the ferry, so that's quite an exciting thing for your inner rail nerd. Once you get to Copenhagen, it certainly is a wonderful city. It's got a lot of fairy tale heritage. It was the home to Hans Christian Andersen. You can see the colourful buildings on Nyhavn, the main sort of street, and the water side there. Great place to kind of have a traditional meal. You can take a nice boat trip and see all the different architectural styles. Obviously, there's a lot of kind of Scandinavian chic design going on in Copenhagen, which makes it a really wonderful kind of city of two halves and very, very clean and friendly as well. From Copenhagen, there is a direct train to Gothenburg. It goes across the Øresund Bridge, which is apparently quite a marvel of engineering. Very, very famous link between Denmark and Sweden. And everyone kind of, when I was on it, everyone rushed to take pictures of it. But really, you can only see the water. So it's really nice just to kind of, to just feel like you're kind of jetting out. That was wonderful. Gothenburg is definitely Sweden's second city. It's famous as being a real foodie city. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'm sure you can tell that I am, given that I just rambled on about food on the Orient Express for so long. But it is fantastic. So many Michelin-starred restaurants and lots of local kind of off-the-beaten-track places to discover as well. It's a city that's really proud of its maritime heritage. It's built right on the water there. Very, very illustrious port city in history. So there's lots of things to see and do as well as some lovely waterside strolls available too. From Gothenburg, again, the train is direct from Gothenburg to Oslo. The journey is beautiful. I had no expectations for the journey from Gothenburg to Oslo. I sort of thought it was just going to be kind of a, just a practical journey to get between two cities. But it was so pretty and picturesque. You pass through lots of remote Scandinavian towns that you would have no hope of pronouncing the names if you're anything like me. Just before you pull into Oslo, you go right past the water. We got in really late in the evening, but it was summer, so the sun was kind of just sinking, and it just made for a lovely, lovely entrance to the city. Oslo is very famous, obviously, for its Nobel Peace Prize heritage. It's certainly not the cheapest capital city I've ever visited, but there is so much to see and do. It's all built on the water, and you can take a nice boat trip out to the fjords. It's also a great place to, if you wanted to add on a trip up on the Flam Railway or to Bergen or that part of Norway, that's easy for us to add on for you from Oslo. That would be a really nice idea. But for the purposes of this holiday, you can take the train from Oslo directly to Stockholm, which is obviously the very chic Swedish capital. There's a picture of the Gamla, the old town there, which is very, very popular. Lots of interesting, quirky architecture dating back hundreds and hundreds of years. It's very much a capital city, so there's no lack in things to do. There's even an ABBA museum, if you feel so inclined. And you can take nice trips out to the archipelago. Very, very wonderful city to round off your trip. From there, you can either take the train back and maybe staying in Hamburg or a different city on the way back, or of course, we can fly you back to whatever your local airport is. It's completely up to you. And brand new for 2018, we're very excited to give you all a sneak peek of one of our most exciting new holidays, which has a lot of in common with the holiday we just looked at, but it's using Scandinavia as a way to get to Russia, which is really, really popular at the moment. So obviously traveling out through Hamburg, you'll see Copenhagen and Stockholm before taking the overnight ferry from Stockholm to Helsinki, and then catching two pretty special trains, the high-speed Allegro from Helsinki to St. Petersburg, which makes that journey in about 4.5 hours. And then, of course, the high-speed Sapsan, the world-famous train from St. Petersburg to Moscow, which covers that whole distance in just 4 hours. That is definitely a bucket list trip for a lot of people. And this is a really nice way to travel out to Russia. A lot of people think about kind of going over through mainland Europe, through Belarus, but this was definitely kind of one of our recommended ways, because you get that amazing scenery that we spoke about. And of course, trips on some pretty special bucket list trains as well. So definitely give us a call if you're interested in this. This is brand new to Railbookers for 2018. As promised, we'll take a trip south now. Just kind of all take a deep breath and picture the wonderful blue skies of Madrid and Andalusia. These are 4 fantastic cities, basically the 3 key Andalusian gems down in the south of Spain. It's quite easy to travel out to Madrid by rail. You could have a night over in Barcelona along the way, or of course you could fly. It's a very elegant Spanish capital city. One of my favorites for its really lovely parks, nice open squares where you can sit and have a glass of something cool and refreshing and people watch. If you're interested in kind of culture, a bit of a culture buff, this is definitely the city for you, with the golden triangle of art, obviously with the Prado is that amazing highlight. And Madrid is famous for its blue skies. Even when it's cold in the winter, it almost always has a nice blue sky. So if that's not a reason to visit, I don't know what is. From there, it's just 4 hours, as little as 4 hours from Madrid down to Granada. They're still building that high-speed line, when that will be completed, I could not tell you. But 4 hours is a nice journey time to travel down into the south of Spain. You can see the amazing Alhambra Palace Fortress complex in Granada there. That is something that is very likely to sell out, and the queues can be absolutely phenomenal at busy times. So if you'd like us to organise that for you before you go, so you know you've definitely got a ticket and you know you definitely won't have to queue, then we can certainly do that for you, as the Alhambra is the must-see when you're in Granada. From there, you can journey to Cordoba, explore the Mezquita. There's a lot of wonderful Moorish architecture there to explore. and then it's a high-speed train on to Seville. Seville's the Andalusian capital, the home of flamenco dancing, so you can definitely go and watch a flamenco show. We can organise that for you. Again, you can see the wonderful kind of mishmash of architectural styles. It's got a big city kind of feel, but again, really, really warm, very friendly, some of the nicest food anywhere in Spain. So definitely one to add to your to-do list. And of course, we couldn't talk about our favorite holidays, our top holidays for 2018, without mentioning Switzerland. And this holiday is enduringly popular because it combines Switzerland's two most fantastic scenic trains. Definitely, these are the two most famous, the Bernina Express and the Glacier Express. And it's really possible to do these in just a 5-day stay. You can do both trains, experience kind of both of the railway journeys, and let us know your favourite, because there's an ongoing debate here in the Railbookers office about which is the better of the two trains. You can start out by taking the train, via Paris, and get down to Interlaken. Translates as between two lakes, and it's a really great base for exploring more of Switzerland. If you'd like us to organise a day trip up to the top of the Jungfrau mountain, we certainly could do. That's definitely a Railbookers must do. It's the highest train station in Europe, sits some 3,500 meters above sea level. You can see out as far as France and Germany from the top. See, the views are absolutely wonderful. From Interlaken, you can then connect to the start of the Glacier Express, which is very fondly known as the world's slowest express train. It takes some 7.5 hours to cover its 290 kilometers of the full route, goes at an average of 24 miles an hour. So at least you can be sure that you're going to soak up every ounce of scenery there is to see. You really won't miss a thing. The food on the Glacier Express is wonderful as well. We can pre-book full meals for you, really, really high quality food, very nice bottles of wine on offer as well. So you can sit back and just relax as you kind of wind through this mountainous scenery. You can see the train going through in the winter there with those huge panoramic windows that stretch up into the ceiling. It's obviously a very different experience in summer, quite Narnia-esque, winter wonderlandy in the winter, and then in the summer it's kind of this sun-drenched, verdant kind of paradise. So, if you wanted to do it twice to compare in the summer and the winter, who could blame you? You'll get off the Glacier Express in Kur, famous for having a really nice medieval 13th century architecture and a car-free old town. There's a cable car nearby that'll take you up for panoramic views all over the region and down on the town as well. It's also perfect because it is the start point of the Bernina Express route. Almost all of the railway tracks for the Bernina Express are built on UNESCO listed and built narrow gauge as well. There's something like 300 bridges and tunnels that the train has to negotiate to get through and past all these amazing mountains. You'll go across the Landwasser Viaduct, which is in a lot of the promo photos, really, really high up, wonderful views out of the windows, which again are amazing panoramic windows. And there's lots and lots of kind of mountain scenery, but nice meadows and things like that as well to go past. Go past Lake Poschiavo, which is a real highlight for a lot of people. So definitely a bucket list journey, and I think is the one that our staff decided was maybe marginally their favourite out of the two journeys. But you'll have to do them both, and you can join the debate. And another brand new holiday to Railbookers for 2018. We're giving you a little sneak peek here. It's scenic Switzerland. So if you've got a little bit longer than the 5 days for the Glacier Express and the Bernina Express, maybe you've never visited Switzerland or never traveled by train in Switzerland, or you just want to soak up as much scenery as you can, this is definitely the holiday for you. Our team have been all over Switzerland, and this is their sort of ideal itinerary for getting the best out of the trains in that amazing country. So from Zurich, you can travel by train into Zurich if you like. It's just one train in Paris, or of course you can fly in and out if you'd rather from your local airport. From there, you'll travel down to St. Moritz. You'll go over that amazing Landwasser Viaduct that we spoke about. You'll take that Bernina Express train route that we saw to Toronto and back in the same day. And then you'll go all the way to do the full length of the Glacier Express train to Zermatt, right at the foot of the Matterhorn, the very famous mountain. You can go on a day trip on the Cogwheel Railway from Zermatt to Gornegrat. That's our head of European rail services. It's his must do when you're in Switzerland. It's definitely his favourite, very famous Cogwheel Railway. You go from Zermatt then to Lausanne to explore the Golden Pass, which is a very different kind of train line, as it's not alpine particularly. It's more sort of those amazing mountain meadows that you think of when you think of Switzerland. You can see Simmental cows and things like that from the train windows. So that's definitely a must do. Of course, we'll include the Jungfrau Joch train ride and a trip to the top of Pilatus as well. You can do that by Cogwheel Railway, by cable car. You can even do part of it by boat. Completely up to you. Our staff will definitely chat through the options, and you'll be able to pick your favourite way. So hopefully one of those holidays has given you a bit of inspiration for what you might like to do in 2018. There's loads of obviously fantastic railway journeys available. Just give one of our rail experts a call. They'll be more than happy to talk you through whether that is one of the scenic train journeys that we've seen or a luxury private railway journey. As I said, can't recommend the Orient Express highly enough. City breaks are certainly possible to many of the destinations that we've seen on this webinar too. Cologne or to Geneva, Switzerland, obviously lots of places in France, the Netherlands and Belgium too. So if you've only got a little bit of time, don't let that stop you taking to the rails. Rail and sail for those cruise lovers, the lakes and mountains as well. And as I said, absolutely everything that you see can be tailor-made. So just let us know if it's not quite right. We can tweak it, add nights in, do it in reverse, whatever it is that you want to do. Just let us know. We've seen some of the top destinations there. USA and Canada we haven't seen on this webinar, but we're going to be doing a webinar just on the USA and Canada very, very soon. So if you're interested in a trip across the pond to do one of those amazing bucket list trips, maybe a coast-to-coast journey in the USA or through the Rocky Mountains in Canada, those are certainly some of our favorite itineraries going forward into 2018 as well. And if you'd like more inspiration about these holidays or many, many more, then please do request a copy of our brochure. It's full of exciting ideas and different combinations of cities and famous scenic routes that you can travel on. Loads of information about rail travel as well. You can get it from www.railbookers.co.uk/request-brochure, or please do just give us a call when you speak to one of our rail experts. Just request a copy from them. They'll pop one in the post for you. If you can't wait till then and you just want to dive into the world of rail travel, then you can visit our website and explore by destination all over Europe, as we've seen today, but the USA, Canada, Asia, Africa, Oceania as well. So wherever it is that you want to go, please do just let us know. And when you're ready to book, there are two ways to do that. You can give us a ring on 0203 780 2382, or of course you can call or go into your local travel agent as well. As promised, there will be a winner. The winner gets £50 off their next Railbookers holiday. Our winner today is Joanne Healds. So Joanne, I'll be in contact with you very, very soon and let you know how you can redeem your prize. And absolutely everybody will get £25 per person off their next holiday as well. Joanne, you can use that too. You can combine those. And if you do have any questions, please do just let us know. You can obviously type them in the question box, or do give us a call. One of our rail experts will be able to help. We've had loads of questions already on this webinar, actually, so I can certainly try and answer a couple for you before the end. Let's have a quick look. We've got a great question from Greg, who is asking what's the best time of year to travel on the trains are. He's talking about the trains in Switzerland. As we saw, there's kind of a big difference between the winter and the summer. And it really is just up to you. All of our holidays are obviously completely independent, with the exception of the kind of private trains like the Orient Express, which will have set departure dates throughout the year. Most of these trains run every day, so you can travel whenever you like to. There'll be a choice of train times on most of the holidays, especially in Europe as well. So it is completely up to you. Obviously, the cities will be a lot quieter in January, but so if you wanted to go to the museums, then that's obviously a fantastic time to do that. If you wanted to go for the sunshine, then you can't beat a trip in the summer. But it really is easy to just pick or just talk to us, and we'll get a sense of what you're looking to get out your holiday. We can recommend the perfect time for you to travel. We've got a question from Caroline as well, who is asking when she can book for. So it looks like she's looking at a trip at the end of the year. And that's fine, Caroline. We can book that for you absolutely now. We're booking all the way through 2018 and all well into 2019 as well. So, don't worry if the tickets haven't been publicly released yet. We can certainly organise your rail holidays all the way through this year and into next. If it is a popular city or a popular train journey, the early bird certainly does get the worm, as it were. So please do give us a call. We've got lots of people asking about different prices and things like that, and different route options and the best way to get to places. So please do just give us a call, and we'll be very, very happy to tell you exactly the answer to your exact question, so that you can get planning your holiday. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It is a real pleasure to get to speak to so many of you about our wonderful holidays. It's been great to talk about and focus on Europe this evening. We are open now, or we're open all week, Monday to Friday and Saturdays as well. So just give us a call and we'll be very happy to get planning with you and wax lyrical about all things rail journey. But we hope that you have a fantastic new year in 2018, and that you get to visit somewhere that you've always wanted to go by train this year. So looking forward to seeing you all on the next webinar, and have a fantastic evening.